Hey, everybody. I'm assuming that you can hear me A-OK. I'm not really sure right now, but we're going to say it's going good. I'm going to open this sucker up. Welcome to a very special, hopefully special, unless things go horribly wrong, as they have been all day, edition of Michael Talks to Some Person, and then they talk a bunch edition of Michael Talks to Some Person. That sounds fine. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, this is fine. We can do this. This is good. All right. I don't think we have anybody watching yet, but that's okay. This is all about getting shit together, son, doing things. I'd like to introduce... Oh, okay, Brian's here. All that matters is that Brian's here. Real quick, guys, before we get started, talking with Victor, is it Bonacore or Bonacore?
I was called Bonacore in elementary school, but it is Bonacore.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we have to decide if we want to be elementary school about it or not. All right. Anyway, so this is going to be a bit of a weird show. All of my usual screen stuff is not set up because my PC crapped out on me. I don't know what's wrong with it. It literally just happened, and I had to really quickly set everything up on my laptop. That's a first for me. So apologies. I don't think anything will be able to pop up on the screen, and I will not have my usual credits. Not that anybody watches those anyway, but just FYI, things are a little different today. We're using StreamYard. And hopefully this will work out really well. I want to start doing more interviews with indie filmmakers and you know, shit like that. And just see what happens. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show, Victor Bonacore. Bonacore, hey guy.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, guest has echo? God damn
it. Big Daddy.
Let's see here. Let me know, guys, if that echo's gone when he is talking more. I think I might have been on my end. If not, we'll see what happens. All right. So thank you, Victor, for joining me. I'm not gonna get into any of the really good shit just yet until the folks in the comments or in the chat say that everything is going well. Because holy shit. Like, sorry that this I'm gonna promote your movie by having the worst production in the history of YouTube. I'm very excited about that. Go ahead and just go ahead and introduce yourself so that we can see just how good your audio is.
All right, cool. Well, my name is Victor Bonacore. I'm a writer-director.
And now you are.
Am I good?
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Now?
Oh wait. Oh, okay. I see. That's weird.
Hello?
I can't... Okay, this sucks. I can't hear... Oh, I know what to do. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. And I just need to switch audio. Speakers. All right, that's a lovely helmet.
All right. This is one of the character helmets from the movie.
Oh, okay. All right, sweet. And this should sound better to everybody. I figured out my problem. I think I figured it out. So, oh my god. All right. So, tell me first off, and I'm gonna have my phone. By the way, guys, this is not me checking work. This is me not having my 24 screens set up, and I need references. So, all right. You've been working for a while. Actually, I watched I didn't have time to watch all of it, but I watched most of the documentary you did on Mad Men back in, I want to say 2010.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. That was the only thing I had readily available of yours to pop through. Do you have anything else? I should have just asked you, but I suck at social interaction. Do you have anything else that people can watch of yours?
Yeah, I did. I also did a documentary, and that Mad Men documentary was just like a fan thing. I think it was supposed to be like 20 minutes and ended up being 90 minutes or something. And it was just a fun thing to do. And but yeah, I did a documentary on filmmaker Jim Van Beber called Diary of a Deadbeat. He's the guy that did Deadbeat at Dawn and the Manson Family and My Sweet Satan. And he was like a filmmaker I looked up to, and then we became friendly. And so I did that, and out on I think you can get it on Amazon. I think it's out of print, kind of, because the distributor doesn't is not putting it out anymore. Um, that contract or whatever it was is over. But yeah, you can still find it, and I'm going to put it out myself. I've done a lot of music videos for bands like Sexcrement and Johnny Lee Jordan, and trying to think. I did a short film called Ice Cream Sunday. Um, yeah. But it's been a while since I've actually made a feature film and gotten it out there. So that's why I'm doing the IndieGoGos. It's like I don't want to make a movie again over 8 years, shooting on weekends and whenever I have a little extra dough. I just want to do it, get it, and get it out. So
And I've definitely been there with the wanting to just get a fucking movie made.
yeah,
100%. Both times it took me, I think, 9+ months to actually get what was, it's always the same thing. It's we're gonna do this in 2 weeks, guys.
right.
It's gonna be so, guys. We're gonna work hard. Just gonna get it done, knock that sucker out, and then sometimes that does work, and sometimes it turns into basically a pregnancy, and it's just with a lot of screaming and and more stress somehow. So let me actually see if I can bring up the Indiegogo real quick. I think, let's see. Let's go to, I think I can go Chrome tab. Here we go. Sure. Okay. All right. Is this viewable? There we go. Yeah. Okay. So here we have the Thrust, a shit-fucked, vile love story Indiegogo campaign. First off, good job already having very close to your goal. I mean, I know you have 6 days left,
Mhm.
but like that's pretty solid. I've never had an Indiegogo work for me. I'm also terrible at like getting shit out there. You're doing a pretty good job of getting your business out there into the world.
Well, thank
But
you. Yeah, I've never been. I hate being that guy too. I hate being the showman. Like, oh, give me money. I've never done it either, and I'm like, I had so many. I don't know what's the word. I just like reservations about doing it, but yeah, it's working. I think most of that I owe to the cast. Um, the amount of great people involved in it. But yeah, I'm extremely happy. It's kind of surreal, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Uh,
and of course it's a flexible goal, so you're going to get that money regardless of if you do get everything that you're asking for.
Correct.
So I do have to ask. So okay, this is a post-apocalyptic film, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and you're doing all practical effects.
All practical effects. None of
Uh,
that fix it and post stuff. Yeah, all on camera. We're doing it all right there. And yeah, I'm a big believer in that. And I understand that there is post stuff you have to do sometimes, but I really, really hate that, and I really want to keep it. Nothing pisses me off more than like CGI blood. I
Oh
think
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
the
no
worst
CGI
thing.
blood. Absolutely, I get that. But are you going to be like down for? Because of course, post-apocalyptic dystopian type stuff. You expect. I don't know. Scale isn't necessarily a thing. We've all watched plenty of Italian movies that do not have scale. But are you open to composited backdrops, stuff like that, like things that are just like in addition to everything else? Is it really just the special effects that you're looking at, not going digitally? Or are you going like 100% unless it's the actual camera we're using, no digital?
Yeah, like I'm trying to do no digital. Like I've done green screen before, and sometimes it could be fun depending on what you're doing. But I don't want. I want this to have the look and the feel, and make it with that mindset that we're not doing any of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I got great locations. I got this one location that it literally feels like the apocalypse. When I found it, I was like, "This is Thrust," and this is. It looks like you know in a war torn area. It's like rubble and buildings and graffiti, and it's incredible. And you just can't recreate that.
Where are y'all shooting? I don't need like an address or anything, but like what part of the?
Dayton, all over
Okay,
Dayton, Ohio. Yeah.
okay.
We did one day in the Poconos a week ago, where we filmed with Linnea Quigley, because she's like insanely busy, and she was doing a couple events up there, at the drive-in, that up there that they just saved. Joe Bob just did an event. She was there as a guest, and then the
Oh
week
yeah.
before that, she was doing some VHS Fest thing. So I kind of got her in the middle. And I used to live up there, so I know that area well. And there's some really great, like, apocalyptic looking places in the Poconos. That's the Pennsylvania, if you don't know. And yeah, so we had a great day. We shot through a thunderstorm, and it was wild. And but yeah, other than that, everything's going to be here in Dayton, Ohio.
Sick. All right. Well, I mean, it's nice. I like that it has like a regional thing going for it. You know, you see all these movies, and nothing against like L.A. or anything, but you see a lot of movies shot in like the Southern California area, and it can get a little not tiring, but certainly it doesn't have like a visual flair to it as much as it used to.
Right.
Just because, yeah, and especially in the case of your film where it is all practical and you're not really doing a lot of substitutions in post. Yeah, that's awesome that you have that kind of location going for you. I live in Las Vegas, so I am just
Oh, okay.
perpetually in a post-apocalyptic hellscape. Uh, 500 degrees every day.
Damn.
So, all right. So we have. I just want to go through this IndieGoGo real quick,
Sure.
and so there's a few perks for people. I really just want. First off, guys, go just give this motherfucker some money. Come on.
Please.
We got to support indie film. Obviously, like my channel, we talk a lot about movies from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and even before those beloved decades. But you gotta support new filmmakers. I say this as someone who's probably going to be doing this exact same thing in a few months. Like, come on, just give the guy some money. So close to the goal. And we'll talk about how that money is going to be used in a bit. But first, the perks that you can get. So let's just scan through this real quick. Now, first off, every IndieGoGo has like hey, just give money because you like us. You know, you can just give them $10, and that shows your support, man. And $10 goes a long way.
It does. It goes to food, it goes to gas. It goes to, yeah.
Food, probably the most important thing you get on an indie shoot, on a shoestring cinema shoot. Food.
Absolutely.
People will do a lot for good food. Like, you don't serve them pizza every day. You don't serve them
No.
bologna sandwiches.
No
I know.
trauma shit. Yeah, no
Yeah.
trauma cheese sandwiches and no pizza parties. Yeah, I mean, we'll have pizza when it's done, but I've worked on a lot of film sets, and I used to work for Media Blasters, and we produced a couple films, and peanuts and granola and fruit and stuff like that. I always have coffee available, but yeah, I want you got to feed everybody, and you want them on that. People eat. My girlfriend, who's the lead in this, one of the leads, Erin Brown. She's like, would do all these movies, and she's like, you eat 2 slices of pizza, and then who wants to, do a scene after that, especially if you got to do like a sexy scene or something. Like, no,
Straight up. You don't want your actors bloated. That's for sure.
No, right, and then you want to take a nap after a food like that,
Yeah.
So.
I once made the mistake of cooking pasta from scratch for a crew. That didn't go very well. Let's see. So for $15, you get the original Thrust comic. Tell me about this.
Okay, so I have a friend out here named Matthew Brassfield. He is just one of those guys. He's involved in everything in Dayton. He does screenings. He runs a comic company, and they're great. And he's done a lot of comics for IndieGoGo campaigns for other movies. He's done, I think, The Barn. He did a comic book for, and he does great work. And so he wanted to pick a character out of the script and kind of do a backstory. And I can announce today we're doing Scary Mary, which is a great character in the script. I can't announce who's playing her yet, but yeah, because it's kind of crazy right now. But it's going to be awesome who is playing her. But there is going to be a comic based on that character, and a bunch of other characters from the movie are going to be in it as well. Like a lot of crossover.
Is this a physical or a digital comic? They're
Physical.
getting. Okay.
That's why I didn't do the. I'm a big believer in physical. That's why I didn't do like a lot of filmmakers were telling me do the digital download, and I'm like, I don't know. I like you can get the DVD, the Blu-ray, the VHS. I don't know. I'm just a firm believer in owning things and collecting things, and I feel like, you
That's
know,
fair. I mean, it is. We'll get to it. But that's dope. $15 for a digit for an actual or not for an actual comic, for a physical comic book
right?
about a character. I mean, considering that it's also money going towards a film that I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And only. Oh shoot! 1 second. I just plopped everything down. Using my trackpad like a lame-o caveman. So yeah, $15. There's only 25 available. 3 have been claimed. Guys, come on, get on this shit. Come on. It's a physical thing. I almost feel like you should have like a thing they're saying, like I don't know, some way of saying like it's a physical comic book, guys.
Yeah, maybe I should be a little more clear on that. Yeah. Like putting this whole IndieGoGo thing together too is like blowing my mind.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's not hard, but it's definitely like a world I'm not used to. And I wish I had more actually art. The comic is getting worked on as we speak, but yeah, so I just threw up their company logo.
Yeah, I get that. I 100% get it. And actually, speaking of like fixing things, you did. I'm very happy that you changed the poster. The poster you had up for the potential teaser poster was fine. It was just a shot. But I love who did this poster.
Some guy I'm working with, and but the photography is this photographer named Brooklyn Ewing, and she's shoots women so perfectly. She just does this great. She's just an amazing photographer, and she's a friend of mine and also a filmmaker. And she just has the right eye. And I was like, you need to film this, shoot this, and so yeah, it's all Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn shot her, and then Allison, the other lead. And I wanted 2 different posters. Yeah, the original one was kind of a rush thing. I had a buddy do it as a favor, and it was literally like within hours. But I'm really happy with how these came out, and they're different, and it shows off both leads and gives different people credit on each one. And yeah, no, I'm happy, and I was grateful for the constructive criticism, and
I cannot extol the virtues of giving and taking constructive criticism enough, because really, like, I wish people, because I mean, I'm a YouTuber, obviously. I get a lot of non-constructive criticism
right
all the time.
Sure.
And it can be very frustrating. And that the same for filmmakers. Like, you go on a Letterboxd review page for an indie film. And I just did this the other day. I was looking at some indie that I had bought on Blu-ray, and there were a bunch of like 4.5, 5-star reviews that, at a certain point you start going, okay, guys, what's the actual quality of this movie we're talking about here?
Right.
And then the other side of the coin was like 0.5 star, 1 star, kind of, and it all seemed to be based around like, this is low budget, I hate it. And it wasn't really constructive at all on either side.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to, and just mean. And so it's nice to receive that criticism and give that criticism without being a dickhole about it. And I don't think I was a dickhole about my criticism.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But and there's also this happens a lot in Vegas and probably in LA. I don't know, but a lot of filmmakers can't take criticism, and that's another big problem. Is you'll have, like, I've been screamed at because I remember I had a meeting once locally. I think it was about they wanted to make like a TV show or something. It was stupid, and was definitely never going to get off the ground. But I expressed my concerns with this concept they had, and admittedly I'm a nobody, so I don't hold any sway, but I'm very honest.
Yeah.
And we finished the meeting and we go out to the hallway, and the woman who like brought us in, because I was with another guy there, she just started like screaming at me about how embarrassed she was and how I like fucked everything up. And I was like, well, life's hard.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I'm glad that you took that and you had these like really just beautiful posters made. Like I love both of these. Like they both look amazing. The fact that only one person has claimed these so far.
I know. I
Uh,
was kind of, blown. I'm gonna do we're gonna do a video with Erin later, the lead on the first poster, because she's not on social media, and but we're gonna do a video, and we're hoping that helps sell them because I think they're great, and they'll be 11 by 17, and they'll sign them, and yeah, get on it. I think I'm just not reaching. I didn't want to be super annoying on Facebook, and
oh, be annoying. Fucking do it.
but I feel like right now we got 6 days, so now it's time to be
Now it's
annoying.
time to hustle, baby.
Yeah, it is. It is. It
Hustle that
is.
shit. Okay, so yeah, these are like honestly, like I want to get one of these, and I'm not sure which one I want. I might just buy both. I don't know because these really are like I just love the visual aesthetic. I think I might prefer poster number two. I don't know. Like I really love the contrast with the wall, and then it cuts off into that like light blue color.
Yeah.
Like that's just great. Also, Aaron, of course, best known as Misty Bunday, right?
Yep. Yep. She should go by
People,
that. Yeah.
I know she doesn't use that name anymore, but I think that's obviously most people remember Misty Monday.
Oh,
Great
absolutely.
in Lord of the G Strings. That was
Yeah.
a seminal film for me. Um,
Right. Yeah.
I hope she doesn't hate that movie or anything. That's like was my go-to in my brain because it was on I think like Showtime or something all the
Yeah.
like
I think it was
constantly.
Showtime or Cinemax, one of those.
Oh, it
Yeah.
might have been Cinemax. Yeah,
Yeah.
back in
Spider
the
Babe. Yeah. Like that kind of stuff. Yeah. She doesn't like really promote that stuff, but she doesn't run, it is what it is. And
right.
she's just moving on, and,
Yeah, I'm very
yeah.
excited to see what she brings to this particular project. In all honesty, like I'm really intrigued to see what you come up with.
Have you ever seen, she's in one of those Masters of Horror,
Yeah,
uh,
in Sick Girl, I
Sick
think, right?
Girl, and
Yeah,
yeah, with Angela Bettis and the Lucky McKee one, and
I
it's incredible.
yeah I haven't seen that since it aired, so I can't like. But
Right.
I remember really enjoying that episode in particular. I just haven't really revisited, other than the Takashi Miike episode. I have not watched any of
Yeah.
those in
Right.
years. I probably should because I had a great time. And Lucky McKee is such a fucking nice person
Oh, I
that I
love
really.
that dude.
He gave me like a free like bookmark or something. I don't remember what the fuck it was, but he gave me something
Huh.
for free when I saw him at Dragon Con one year. I
Oh,
wish
right.
I should be able to remember these things, but
There's yeah.
um,
But May was a huge movie to me when I was like working in a video store as a kid. That cliche story, but I was like a Hollywood video, and I remember seeing May and not knowing what it was and being blown away by it. I love that film.
let me just check my okay. Yeah, Lucky. Like he should be making like 5 movies a year. God
I
damn.
know, but
Um,
it's like quality over quantity.
yeah.
No, yeah, no, but he should be. I agree with that. I do.
People should be fucking throwing money.
They should.
Um, so, all right, let's just get through the rest of these. Oh gosh, darn it, I did it again with the fucking trackpad. So Symbolicious short films DVD. Tell me about Symbolicious or
So
Symbolicus. Symbolicus.
Symbolicus, yeah. So Symbolicus was this thing that actually the people doing the special effects, Jesse Seitz and Marcus Cook. This is like their baby, and it was Marcus had approached me like during the pandemic, like right in the middle. He's like, I'm looking for a bunch of underground people, filmmakers, to make shorts with whatever you got, experimental with literally whatever you want to do. And I'm like, cool. And he gave us all a symbol. And he's just like, make a movie based on the symbol. So I got triangle, which I was like, that's cool. It's a powerful symbol. And my father had just passed away, and I just got back from New York after his wake, like in the middle of a pandemic. So it was all fucked up, and I was in a weird headspace. And I came back to Dayton, and I'm sitting in here, and I start writing this story, and it just kind of came together, and it definitely grew. It was like an 8-page script, and now it's like a 24-minute short. But that went on there, and I was very proud of it, and it was kind of a thing to like get your feet wet again and just get the rust off. And in wrestling, the term is get the ring rust off. And that's kind of what I felt like I was doing. It's like get a few friends together that mostly were just like inside the whole pandemic, and then we made that film, and it's on that disc, and with a bunch of other great weird experimental short films from like all over the world. And they sent me a bunch, and I was like, I'm gonna just make it part of the perk. Why not? It's make it part of the campaign. It's I'm proud of that short triangle, and it's like I said, there's like 13 other shorts on there, or 12 other shorts, and it's definitely a good grab. And
Guys,
I think only a few people grabbed it, but
this is cinema, guys. Got 13 examples of cinema.
Totally underground, real artistic creativity. It's awesome. Lots of different people, different walks of life, and really interesting stuff.
Okay, so there's so many. I think one problem I'm seeing here is there are so many strong contenders for what to give money for, like what perks to choose. So you fucked up there. Anyway, Thrust DVD. Now this is one obviously people are claiming a lot of. 17 claimed, but
yeah.
So we got the DVD. That's pretty self-explanatory. Are you planning on like having this thing burst to out of the seams with special features? Like, are you gonna?
Yeah, I definitely. I'm a big fan of that. I kind of hate when you buy a movie, especially an underground independent film, and there's no special features. Those are kind of sometimes the first thing I watch. Like, I love behind the scenes on indie productions. And I love commentary and stuff like that. And yeah, I want to blast it full of stuff. Absolutely. Definitely behind the scenes. We're going to be filming everything when we're shooting, and a lot of that's accountability too. It's, absolutely. I want to have a bunch of stuff on everything, and I want it to be worthwhile. You don't want anybody to feel ripped off, and if we have the stuff, why not?
Do you have someone dedicated to doing behind the scenes?
We do. I have a few people that are just really helping out. And someone's always going to have a camera in their hand. Yeah.
Sick. That's one mistake I made with my last two was I didn't have someone dedicated for that role. I regret that constantly because we're finally one of the films is getting an actual proper release.
On.
And like, I'm going to put a commentary or a few commentaries together and, get, scrounge what behind the scenes stuff we have. But every day I'm just like, man, if I could have just found one fucking person to just hold a goddamn camera for like,
and it's super fun.
Days.
And I think it's fun shooting behind the scenes. Like, you really just be the fly on the wall, and, it's great. Actually, that is one of the perks. It was like, I went back and forth. I like studied IndieGoGos. And one of the people were always like, pay $300 and you can die in our film. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. I kind of know who exactly I want in the movie. But I'm like, you know what? Why don't we have like a behind the scenes for a day, and we give somebody a camera, and you are the behind the scenes person for a day. And we actually had somebody claim that, and I talked to them, and they're super cool, and they're really excited about it. And so I'm like, there you go. And then they get a credit for the behind the scenes, and then we get it behind the scenes for a day that we don't have to worry about, having somebody film that's on our set, frees up hands basically. And
sick. And then we have a triangle pasta. What's Pasta Beach?
So Pasta Beach Party is my buddy Cody Lee Harden. He's a cartoonist, does crazy illustration, really controversial stuff, really clever. And it was his directorial debut. That Pasta Beach is also going to be on Symbolicus Part 2. But, we have the right to do whatever we want with it. So we're like, let's do a VHS special edition with Triangle and that. And then we have a lot of behind the scenes stuff we're going to put on there. So Pasta Beach Party, literally, we drove to Tampa, shot this movie on VHS, on Super VHS, on a fucking sandbar in Tampa on St. Patty's Day. And we just had, my cousin has a boat down there. And I was like, can I bring all my crazy friends? and drive out to the sandbar. And he's like, yeah, but it's going to be crazy because it's St. Patty's Day. I'm like, all right, well, we'll do it. But it was overcast, so there was nobody on the water. And it was worked perfectly. It was an insane, crazy, surreal shoot, but it was a load of fun. And it's about, it's basically a children's story, kind of. This like kid watches a VHS tape called Pasta Beach Party, and it's this wacky movie where there's like this king of Pasta Beach, played by our friend. Now tell me you got a more Italian name than this. Alberto Giovanelli.
Ooh,
I think I
ooh.
said it right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
this
gets,
guy is
me
an
hungry for some
Italian
pasta. Oh my goodness.
dude. He is the king of Pasta Beach, and he's the king of Pasta Beach. And what he does is he has these slaves, and he makes them all dance for him. And when they do bad, you know, kind of like a beach party movie, they're moving and grooving. And if he doesn't like them, he kind of gives them the thumb down, and then he sticks the gabagool on them, and the gabagool attacks and murders them. And it's not till the Irishman comes out of the water miraculously with the help of his giant shrimp, and they duel, and it gets crazy, and it's just a wild, fun time. It's like there's like I don't know. It's it's something. I don't. I think it's very. It's about 20 minutes. It's very entertaining. It's very silly, over the top. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but we take it seriously. You know, the filming of it, and
That's good.
yeah.
Nothing gets me more unhappy with a movie than the filmmakers not taking things seriously, no matter how dumb-ass the movie might be.
Right.
So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like and you can see that it's so transparent when you can see that they're just you know, blood and tits, and you know, and oh god, you know, like put something into it. You know, it doesn't have to be like you know, Citizen Kane, but you know, take it seriously and have fun, and that'll show on screen.
Give me some substance. Give me some umami in that food.
Right.
So, and then how long is Triangle?
Triangle's 24 minutes.
So about a 44-ish minute VHS.
Plus, like, probably about a 20-minute behind the scenes on Triangle, and probably about the same on Pasta Beach. We want to do it like those old full moon VHS, like I think it was called the Video Zone. At the end, you get this whole behind the scenes thing. So like, why not?
You gotta include that in that there description. That's some good shit right there. Like,
I know. I'm so bad at this stuff.
In the mood. Okay, we get. Well, you know, it's kind of there. It says behind the scenes when you click on it, but oh shit, I don't want to do anything right now.
Don't pay for
it. Yeah, that's oh man. You know, it would work really well right here, like some kind of like a VHS, like a previs of the VHS. Right here would be beautiful.
Yeah, I'm working on that now too. My buddy's doing a little double feature, kind of Good Times DVD release double feature kind of looking thing.
Let's see. Out of curiosity, I don't know if you can tell me this, but how long is the script for Thrust?
It's about 81 pages now. I think the final revision was 81 pages.
That's a good length. I like that. I like not too long, not too short. Right there. Right.
I want it to be like a good punk song, you know, like 77 minutes, quick, fast, no fluff, nonstop. Yeah. You know, you see movies, and when you see indie films that are like over 90 minutes and there's terrible sound and terrible lighting, and you're like, oh my goodness, I wish I could just help them edit this down. And, you know, I don't want anybody saying that about me. So, you know, yeah, but I want it to be nonstop. So I feel like that's a good length.
Sweet. So I'm imagining because just like based on the footage from Triangle, I'm almost imagining like the opening to Albert Pyun's Nemesis, but in Dayton, Ohio. That shot in Triangle of the arrow point of view. It specifically reminded me of that shot in Nemesis.
I heard you say that in the other, in the other.
I love Albert Pyun, even though I never remember how to say his fucking name, but I love his like interjet energetic style, at least in his earlier stuff. Later on, as things became more dire production wise, I think things start going downhill a bit. But Nemesis is such a like beautifully shot film, and that the opening, like I want to say like 15, 20 minutes is just like it's edited perfectly. The shots are extremely dynamic. It's like John Woo on crack.
I've never seen it actually.
Oh, you got to check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to tonight.
That'll give you some good ideas, honestly, because he's also, I mean, he never had a good budget for his movies.
Oh, okay.
Like he started off with a pretty good low budget. And then like every so often he'd get something kind of resembling, again, like a good-ish low budget, but generally speaking, it's all shoestring cinema. Like, you know, most like all of his early stuff, like Alien from LA, things like that, definitely had, you know, more money than you'd be getting, but also it was, you know, shot on film, and so you know, when you consider the costs of the film and consider the costs of like some of the professional actors they bring in to try to sell copies, like it gets, if you like consider the production costs, it gets really dire really fast.
Oh, shooting on like film. I shot a feature on 16 that I never finished, and it's shooting on film is super expensive, and you could shoot for a whole weekend and then you get the footage back and it's completely black, you know.
It's a tough thing. I feel like a lot of like sometimes you'll get like these cinephiles criticizing indie filmmakers for going digital all the time, and it's just like, guys, it's nigh on impossible. Like you have to have like $100,000 minimum, like absolute minimum, and even that, like once you take out film costs, lab costs, everything, like you have almost nothing left. It just saps you. So you'll never find me complaining about digital filmmaking, that's for sure.
You just gotta do what you gotta do, you know. You gotta
it's about the art, you know. It's about getting the story across, getting the performances, and creating a feel. And you do what you gotta do to make whatever your circumstances are work.
Right.
That's definitely. I mean, my last movie was shot on VHS. I didn't have to do that.
Hey,
but
it's aesthetic,
it worked aesthetically, No one really gave a shit, but
hey, if it mattered to you, you know, it made it what it was. And you know, I am a staunch believer in like I think nothing digital will never look exactly like film. Like you can always tell. I think film is such a beautiful thing. And when I went to film school, that's how I learned. I've learned to shoot on 16. And I learned to edit on 16, like cutting the film and splicing it together. And I'm grateful for that. They don't even do that at the school that I went to anymore.
Yeah, I think I was one of the last at my school to do 16.
Oh, yeah?
They might still do it because I don't know if the guy who was in charge of the department is still in charge, because I suck at paying attention to those things. But he was very adamant about films. We had a bunch of editing beds, like I want to say like 6 editing bays, which were upstairs, and I don't understand how they did that, because it was like a small building. Like chunky ass editing bays.
Those big, Steam Vex, and
Mike Delaney. Let me see if this. Oh, check out the book on Albert Pyun by Justin at Gold Ninja Video.
Right on.
He fucked that up a little bit in typing, but that's okay. He Gold Ninja. I actually read that book. I have it somewhere in here, but my whole office is fucked. My shelves behind me that I pride myself on fell, so I don't know where anything is anymore. But the book, I think it's called Radioactive Dreams. I wish I had it nearby. Is really good. Very full of typos, but I'll allow it. Justin DeClue over at Gold Ninja Video is pretty rad dude. Has a great podcast called The Important Cinema Club, which I highly recommend to everybody. I love Justin. I mean, I don't know. He might be a total douchebag I don't know, but probably not. I assume not. Anyway, so yeah, let's. This is how these always go. Where we go off onto tangents and we never make it through the first segment.
That's
So Thrust script, $30, signed, all that jazz. Limited Blu-ray, that's pretty self-explanatory. 70 out of 200 claimed.
yeah, that's the top thing. Yeah.
Let's see here. Limited VHS, another pretty. I'm assuming you'll put like a. Do you think you'll put a behind the scenes on the VHS, or
I'm sure we'll do something exclusive. Yeah, I want everything to have something exclusive.
Okay.
So it feels a little more special, and it is special. And actually, that cover, the cover for the VHS, the artwork's going to be done by Mike Diana. If you've ever seen the documentary that Frank Henenlotter did on him called Boiled Angels.
Oh, fuck. That's awesome.
Yeah, Mike and Frank's a good friend of mine. I've worked on his last film, and he's kind of a mentor to me, and I love the guy to death. And Mike is a great friend too, and I've known him for years, and I love his art. And he's the only comic book artist ever thrown in jail for his art.
Absolutely.
It's a censorship story, and we got in touch, and he's doing some kind of crazy cover. It's Mike Diana. Like, look him up if you don't know him.
We actually, that was I think the first episode of my podcast, which is still is still dormant. But when I did try my podcast, the first episode, I think we talked about Boiled Angels.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that was the first one. I know on one of them, but I think it was the very first topic that I had. And yeah, Mike Diana, fucking rad dude.
So nice.
Unjustly penalized for his art.
Right.
I guess on the plus side, it did give him more notoriety.
True.
But, yeah, one of the great examples of our system failing miserably, just falling on its face.
Absolutely.
But that's super fucking rad. Like, I'm half tempted to get the VHS. I probably won't because I don't have much use for VHS anymore. But that is super cool. If you collect VHS, like just for that cover art, whatever it ends up looking like, holy cow, that's going to be sick as hell.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, and I cannot wait to see it myself. And I think people are going to lose their minds over it.
And I assume the theatrical poster is by another artist as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a lot. I did a lot of still photography with Brooklyn for the campaign and for the teasers. But yeah, I'm gonna do more photos on set, and I want to do stuff with Aaron and Allison together, and a lot of the other characters. I want a really big poster with like a lot of the characters on it, and I think I'm gonna have my cousin Eddie Bonacore, who's a tattoo artist, do some poster for it. He's really good with that stuff too. Yeah, and I'm thinking it might be the same as the Blu-ray cover, but it might be different. But yeah, we're gonna have I want a big 27 by 40 theatrical poster.
Ooh, this actually brings up a good question. For the Blu-ray cover, are we gonna be able to switch to the other side for different artwork? Is it gonna be double-sided?
I love the idea.
That's Blu-ray fucks. We love us Blu-ray fucks. We love that shit.
Okay, thanks for telling me.
Every time.
Right on. I'm into it.
Let's see. And of course, I'm sure that the Blu-ray and stuff will have aggressive amounts of action. It'll be super fucking sexy. We got a prop head that you can buy. Was this from Triangle?
Yeah, so that's my buddy Aaron Williams. He's a really amazing independent wrestler, pro wrestler. And he's one of the good guys in the pro wrestling world. He's so talented, and he was in Triangle, and that's his prop head. It was made by effects artist James Bell, who's like another really incredible underground, gritty filmmaker. Really gory, intense stuff. He's got a short on that Symbolica stuff too, and he made that head for me in an insane amount of quick time. And it's also in Pasta Beach, and we're also going to do the Troma thing and throw it in Thrust. I forgot the name of the fucking movie for a second. We're going to throw it in Thrust as well. And I love Aaron, and I'm like, I see people do the prop stuff. I'm like, why not? I didn't want to get rid of it. No one's claimed it yet, but I'm like, it's such a cool thing and such a one of a kind kind of thing.
Yeah, and you could use the money, so just. Then we got Linnea Quigley's costume. I worry about anyone buying this. I'll be honest with you. I'm really worried about what happens to that costume once someone buys it.
I actually have it right here.
Oh boy.
I
All
have it
right,
right here. Here's her headdress. Anyway,
look at
Th-
that.
this was made by Batanya Grant, who is incredible. She's made most of the costumes for the movie and literally made all of Linnea's stuff and incredible. And yeah, I love it. I told her what I wanted. She got the material. And then when she showed me a picture of it on the mannequin, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted. That's what, filmmaking is such a collaborative thing. And a lot of it is just finding or getting the right people to do the right things. And she's amazing at costumes. And Linnea's, I don't know, it just worked out. And yeah, we have it here and we're selling it off, and it's still got Linnea's sweat, fake blood in there, and
Guys, you can get clothing worn on the Linnea Quigley's body. It's got she sweated real good into it. It's hot out there. We're in
it was.
a massive heat wave all across the world because of global warming, and that global warming has given you just nice Linnea Quigley sweat all over that costume, that screen used costume. You guys know what to do. Come on, spend some fucking money. Let's see. Let me bring this back up. $450. Yeah, come on, bargain for all you weird freaks out there.
Yeah, and it's basically what it costs a lot of money to make it, and so it's trying not to price. I'm trying to price these things how I looked at other IndieGoGos, but I'm like, it's Linnea. It's literally a one of a kind thing, and again, it's not something I want to get rid of, but the most important thing is making the movie. And
so guys, help out this film. Get yourself a diminutive mannequin, because I'm pretty sure Linnea Quigley's pretty fucking short, and you fucking get that costume, or just put it on yourself. I don't know what your body type is. I'm not gonna just
come to the premiere in the outfit.
Straight up. Oh boy, you're asking for some
memories. I set myself up for that one.
So I am a little like, it does feel like some of this is very inexpensive, but and then we have your associate producer credit, $500, your producer credit, $800, which nothing to sneeze at, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Oh god. Behind the scenes for a day. You're inviting people to the set? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we had one person claim it. It was one of those things I was a little weary about. And I might even close it off now because it's, I know the person that's coming in now for the one day, and they're an artist themselves, and definitely cleared it. I don't want any creeps on set, obviously. And that's one of the things, like we're going to put a camera in their hands and they're going to film the behind the scenes and they get a credit there. And, and also if they're filming it, there's accountability, if there's creeps, they just get beat up and kicked off. And there's a lot of tough chicks on this set. And there's going to be a lot of protective dudes as well. And yeah, I mean, it's a girl gang movie, don't mess around. Just come on set. If you're going to come on, just be a cool person and shoot some behind the scenes, and you go on your merry way,
You either help with the art and be a part of a beautiful process, or you end up like Kurt Russell at the end of fucking Death Proof. Okay, you hear? Come on.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, right.
And then finally, executive producer, $5,000, and that rounds it out. Tons of perks. I feel like the fact that you haven't sold out on these Blu-rays is a fucking crime. Guys, get the fucking Blu-ray. Like, God, what are you watching my channel for if you're not buying fucking Blu-rays? Come on.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna be getting more annoying this week, I think, and hopefully that goes up. Yeah, I feel like the Blu-ray is obviously the number one thing people want, and that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this budget. So yeah. I'm assuming that you have other money going into this than just the $15,000.
Just everything I've saved, basically, for and I was in an accident a couple years ago, and I put everything that I got from that into this. I mean, it's been a lot out of pocket, about already flights, Airbnbs, I have a lot of people staying with me, but those are like my close friends that are like really the production staff. And, but other than that, like, especially people I haven't worked with, I can't expect them to stay here. Um, so yeah, Airbnbs, food, flights. So already a lot's been sunk in. And, but yeah, you got to pay people, gonna have to have food. It's a 7-day shoot, and locations, gas, it all adds up really quick.
Is this a
And
pretty contained story as far as locations? Like, are you, I mean, obviously you're going for something big and fun and fast paced, but are you keeping things fairly within reason contained to keep that budget as low as
yes
possible?
and no. I definitely, I think locations is, it brings up your production value. And I, pulled a lot of favors, and I had a lot of great people in the Dayton area that are helping me out. And, I've done a lot of guerrilla filmmaking where you just show up and you film. And I'm 37 years old. I kind of wanted to be a little more legitimate this time, and not just do that. So I reached out to a lot of people, and I've gone all over Ohio looking for the right spots, and I got a lot of great places. And that was the good thing about Dayton is, I would approach somebody and be like, "Can I film here for a day? Be a few hours?" And a lot of people are really cool, and I offer some money, not a lot, but hey, if I gave you this, can I shoot here and I'll give you a credit? Most people honestly were like, just throw me this and you're good. We appreciate it. And they love, people are really digging the fact that we're doing something creative and artistic here. And it's different. It's definitely different than what a lot of people do. It's not, Wright State has a film program. That's the big college over here. But it's not a college film. This is a movie, and I wanted to have great locations. So, and since it's a post-apocalyptic, it's got to be specific. So I have Rockstar Pro is a wrestling company that's helping out with some locations, and some of them I don't want to say because I don't want people stealing them too.
No,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, I
but
wouldn't
there's one,
expect you to.
right, and but there's one place that's so great that we're shooting a lot of the exteriors, and it's awesome. You couldn't build it in Hollywood. It's it's a blessing, and I never say that, it's a blessing, but it is.
Do you? And you might have actually mentioned this, and I'm just a blonde. Who's your DP? Who's working the camera?
It's a buddy of mine that I've known for a really long time, and he's weird with names and stuff, so I don't even know what he wants to be named at. He's just a weirdo. I hope he doesn't get offended when I say that, but we're shooting on the digital Bolex, which is
I remember that coming out. That's been
yeah, and it
an
didn't. It was
age.
discontinued, and it didn't do well. But it doesn't look like anything else, and it's like a film body, like a 16 millimeter lenses and everything, and it shoots to an SD card. But it was very expensive camera, so I don't think people it didn't sell well, I guess. And but it's beautiful, and I'm really excited to shoot on that. I think it's going to have a look like, because I do want like a 70s, 80s look to it. I don't want it to look like now, but it is post-apocalyptic. I just want it to have the feeling of that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I want
yeah, they raised a shitload of money on Kickstarter, and then yeah, it did kind of just fall away. I feel like there was like a novelty value that didn't really translate to a lot of, I guess, professionals.
right.
But
And
it
people are
is
shooting on
cool.
the red and stuff, I guess. And
Yeah, which I mean, can't blame them. I have a Black Magic that I use,
Blackmagic's great.
but that's pretty rad. That's gonna look great in behind the scenes material too. Like not to
Yeah,
even like I think I've seen a full. Has a feature been shot on the Bolex
I don't
before?
know. I
Um,
like kind of researched that. I just found like a lot of like test footage.
let's see, feature films, I guess. Um, yeah, it's hard to. This is the shit where I actually like. This is the shit I enjoy. Is all the technical nonsense. But like this makes me extra curious because I really want to see what you can do with. This is a garbage list. This is like these shows that like used like the camera for a scene or some bullshit.
Oh, right.
Oh well. We got some screen grabs. Someone got some screen grabs. Like you can see. Okay, yeah, there we go. So you can see looks pretty all right. You can see this,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Oh God, don't give me that fucking shit. I don't want your LUTs,
No,
gnome. I don't want your fucking LUTs. Don't try to sell me your goddamn LUTs. But yeah, it's a nice looking camera. I don't know, how, and this is all, put through probably the LUTs that he's trying to fucking sell me, Mr. Kroll. Fucking motherfucker.
No.
But at very least, you can see here with some decent lighting, some decent composition, looks perfectly good. Looks like a proper film. So, I mean, we're not likely to see anything too what's the word I'm looking for? I guess amateurish would be the right word. I know like Triangle looked really. Actually, let me go back and just.
That was shot on the Black Magic.
Was that the pocket or?
Yeah.
There you are talking. Let's get that sweet footage.
Being weird.
I don't remember where. Okay, so you can see here, a little desaturated. There was that arrow shot. Like looks perfectly good. And this was a really quick turnaround, right, for that short.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, just let's assume that the film is going to be this with a slight upgrade. I think is a reasonable assumption. You can see there's a lot of fun, a lot of experimental shots here. That always gets my goat. It's not a bunch of shots of like over the shoulder conversation. Got that fucking sick ass arrow POV. I'm such a mark for point of view shots.
That goes back to the practical effects thing. That's just us, knocking the shot with the baseball bat, where Aaron Williams' head that's in the one of the perks. Like that's all practical. That's all us just coming up with camera tricks and ideas and brainstorming and trying them out. And a lot of them worked. I think a lot of it's just time and putting effort into just how do we do this right. And you could do a lot with nothing. Yeah,
I 100% agree. I feel like what's funny is I'm gonna do that thing that all podcasters and people do is and make it about myself. But when I shot my previous movie, The Head, it was all about taking what we had and making it work for us. And when it started off, it was supposed to be basically all shot in my house with like a little extra, like there was like, oh, we'll shoot this in like a park, and we can use the bar that I work at so that we can use some locations there. But overall, it was going to be pretty contained. And then we had a whole mix up, and we brought in a new actress to take over for the main female part, and her look was totally different. And we were like, well, fuck, we got to use her look. She had like this like punk rock look, and the previous actress was supposed to be kind of a like country girl type, and there was no fucking way that was ever going to translate. And we wound up basically like we needed a band, so we got a band, and it was literally just me talking to some friends, and I was like, I really need a band for this movie. They're like, well, we have a band, and I was like, oh, can I use it? They're like, sure, yeah. So I cast them so that I could use all their equipment and pretend that this girl could sing. And then that snowballed into, oh, fuck, I need a mansion. And they're like, we know someone who has a mansion. And it kept snowballing, and we wound up with a pretty wild, like, balls-to-the-wall picture. Probably could be cut down a bit.
It's called The Head?
Yep. Worst title you could possibly give for a movie. I'm a fucking moron. So everybody's like, oh, you mean the show on HBO? No! It's not.
Yeah, I got to see your films. Are they readily available?
The Head is on Vimeo,
cool.
Which is a pain in the ass for like adult content, because like it's like 17 different filters you have to sift through. But anybody who's watching, or you yourself, the links are in the description for all my videos. It was taken off of Amazon. It was on Amazon for a while, and then they were like, yeet. Apparently it was too graphic for them, which I find highly unlikely. It wasn't that graphic.
Didn't Amazon? Yeah, they just kind of purged a lot of indie filmmaker stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked. I mean, I guess I am always like super anti-corporate shenanigans, so I can't really
Yeah.
say too much. But and then
Well,
my first movie, Fatal Future,
Jeff Bezos is a piece of shit.
we almost got rid of him today. But
I know. I was like hoping that fucking rocket blew up in flame. What an end that would be.
this is all satire, by the way. This is all satire, YouTube.
Yeah,
This is all satire.
Totally.
But my first movie, Fatal Future, which is a homage to Neil Breen. That
Great
one's
title.
still in. Yeah, Fatal. Yeah, that one actually is a really good title. But that's on Amazon still. And one of the films is getting. I could actually say The Head is getting a Blu-ray release, probably next year.
Awesome.
I'm waiting on stuff for that, but and then I need to find a new distributor for Fatal Future because that was on Amazon's DVD program, but that's I think getting phased out. It was also kind of a piece of shit anyway. So, but yeah, it's all about. I mean, it's all just like taking what you have and making the most of that. And like we made a really weird fucking movie, specifically tuned to our resources. That's I think I think the beautiful thing about what you're doing is you have this great location. I'm partially assuming you're talking it up, and I assume most of Ohio is just a wasteland.
A lot of it.
So, but like a lot of it was like, okay, we have these things that we can do. Let's like one of the reasons that I did my first movie was my friend and co-director on that movie, Sean. We were watching, I think, Fateful Findings, maybe. One of Neil Breen's movies, and we were like, that's fucking amazing. And we were like, wait a second, we live in the same town he shoots in. We have all the same locations, like more or less available to us. And it's a type of film that kind of works because it's low rent and kind of shitty. Well, we can make low rent and shitty. Come on. And so we made the movie, and a lot of people enjoyed it. People like they actually. This is the dumbest thing I think I've ever been a part of, but. So it shows at Dragon Con every year in Atlanta, and they asked me to do a commentary this year, which I feel like is going to go over like a fart in the wind. But they're like, "Hey, you should do a commentary for the screening this year," and I was like, "All right, ask for it. I don't fucking know what to do." But people like they respond. I think the people who have responded to both movies respond to the fact that they are extremely just tuned in to the kind of budget. Like one of the reasons I shot The Head on VHS, other than my love of SOV cinema, was okay. This is going to hide the fact that we have no money by reveling in the fact that we have no money. And so, like, there's a head explosion in the film that looks like absolute ass because we could not get it right. But it works with the aesthetic. And if we had shot it on like beautiful 4K, which we could have done,
Right.
it would not work as well because you'd have this beautiful 4K movie. And I'm a pretty good DP, so like it would have looked pretty good. And then shitty head explosion stands out like a sore thumb. Sounds like my son is knocking on my door.
No.
Sucks to be him. But yeah, so I'm very excited to see something else like that, where like you said you are taking it seriously. That's really important. I think that's one of the things missing from a lot of movies that I see, and even sometimes that I'm sent, is a lack of understanding that you really have to take things seriously. Every film kind of creates its own line. This is like my personal philosophy on filmmaking is you have your line and you don't cross that line. But the beauty of that line is you're the one that draws it in the sand.
Yeah.
And so when you set out to make like a kind of silly horror action movie, you have to say, okay, am I making a parody? Am I making a film that you're supposed to watch and like be thrilled by and make it more like normal sense of the word? And if you halfway through are like, okay, but we're going to be really winky nod real quick, it crosses the line, and suddenly it cheapens the entire production.
Sure.
And you got to find what works for your film. And mainstream movies do this. I'm kind of in the minority here, but I'm a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
a
just saw the last one at the drive-in with my 10-year-old daughter, and I had never seen any of the other ones, and I was like,
That's confusing.
I had no idea what the fuck's going on, but like Ludacris is in space in a car. I'm like, what? But I'm a huge John Cena fan. No guilty pleasure. Like fucking love John Cena.
I
And
agree.
he
I love John
pops up
Cena.
as the villain, and I'm like, dude, he's like one of my biggest crushes. I love the dude. He's
Yeah,
John Cena, president.
I hated F9.
It was like the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. But
And what drove me nuts about it was I had loved this franchise, and it had its ups and downs, but overall it was a franchise that very carefully, and this might be pure coincidence, but as far as the final product goes, it very carefully upped the ante film by film, and it would get more and more ridiculous. But there was always this foot that they kept in their own reality. It wasn't normal reality; it was heightened, definitely heightened, but it worked each film. And like there were some points, especially like the eighth film, where they went really close to just crossing their line, but they managed to just straddle it just right. And if there were moments that went too far, it was like one time. Like there's a moment in the sixth film where a character catches another character in midair and hits a windshield, and it's like they're padded by the windshield, and it's completely fucking stupid. But it's basically their one gimme in the film. Like they kind of give themselves one gimme where it's like, this is going to be the dumbest shit you've ever seen, but just go with it.
sure.
And then in F9, just like I feel like there's like 18 moments that are the gimme moment, and if they just had like one or two of those moments, it'd be fine. But it's like just constant gimme moments and constant lapses in internal logic. Not just logic. Every movie in the franchise has almost no basis in reality, but it created its own internal logic and then broke that logic in this film. And it's hard to explain that to some people because they just see it as, well, they're all stupid fucking movies. And yeah, they're all dumb, but they have their own special brand of dumb. And I think that's with indie film, specifically indie genre film, there is this sense of like, we're just making a dumb fucking movie. And there's no interest paid to internal logic and tone. And what ends up happening is you fall apart. With my movies, specifically like Fatal Future, I didn't want to go into all-out parody territory. I wanted it to feel like a filmmaker made this and was like really full of themselves and thought they're making a good movie, and then it just turns into kind of a piece of shit. And the humor there is, watching this sort of egotistical man make a movie about how great he is, the greatest hacker and greatest swordsman and greatest all this in the world. And he made a movie. And in theory, if you're watching it without the knowledge that it was made intentionally kind of shitty, you wouldn't know. And actually, that's kind of turned out true because we have a bunch of 1-star reviews where it's just like, they thought they were making a good movie, these fucking idiots. So I guess that worked. And then The Head, similarly, I didn't want to ever kind of tip my hat too much. I didn't want it to be a parody of the genre. I wanted it to fit into the genre. And while it's not, it's very, like, people use cell phones and stuff like that, so it's obviously not, a like 1992 lost shot on VHS movie. We never go like, ha, isn't it funny that we're shooting on VHS?
Right.
It's always, within its own world and doing its own thing. And I think that's when I actually had a patron of mine actually sent me your IndieGoGo. And I was like, I can't tell for sure because I don't have any fucking footage to look at, but I think this might be one of those movies that, like mine, are trying to actually make something that's a real film and not just, hey guys, we're making a low budget movie and Linnea Quigley's in it,
Right.
and that's all you need.
Right. And no, I mean, exactly. I don't want it to be a gimmick. I don't want this to be. No, exactly. I'm trying to think of a better word, but yeah, I totally agree. I want it to be powerful. I want it to be taken seriously, and I want, um, yeah, I want to have the best ensemble cast of actresses in any underground film ever, and I'm serious about that, and I don't want it to be just a gimmick or, um, yeah, no, but I agree, yeah, and I appreciate you for seeing that, you know.
Out of curiosity, what's your like? Do you have any like I always put together like lists of things that I'm kind of trying to take notes from and learn from. Like with the head, for example, a big inspiration for me was the movie Boarding House, and then
Oh yeah, shot on video, yeah.
so I had like this list of movies that I was taking from for my movie that we're going to be shooting later this year. I actually I went one step further. I made a private letterboxed list just for myself of all
Right
these
on.
movies. So what's your mood board look like? What are you like trying to nab notes from and like learn from?
Definitely like the early John Waters stuff. Um, Frank early, all Frank Henenlotter stuff. The Warriors. I mean, I growing up. The Warriors to me was like the coolest movie ever, and it still is. And there's definitely some nods to it, but I don't want it to be inside jokey either.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
And by the way, just to make sure we're clear with everybody, what I'm talking about is just whenever a filmmaker makes a movie, they basically have a mood board of all these different, whether it be like, oh, I want to, shoot, I want my city streets to look like the city streets in Maniac.
right.
So, and that's like Maniac is on my mood board.
Uh,
Or I want, my gang, my main gang, to look similar in style to the gang members in the Warriors. So Warriors is on my mood board. Or I want to have the pacing of some other film, and that's gonna be on my mood board. Stuff like that. I have John Waters on my mood board for my next film. I have Polyester specifically.
oh, I was just talking about that today. It's so good, that movie.
So what else we got? We got Warriors. We got early John Waters.
There's this movie called Rollerblade that I love so much, and that's a big influence on this. Aesthetically, Mad Max, Road Warrior. Man, I'm trying to think specifically too. What else? What else? Class of Nukem High, definitely. Class of 1984. Uh, there was like one character in the film named Greasy Guy, and he was like, "What am I trying to be? Like who? And I was like, "You're Greasy Greg, like the from the Garbage Pail Kids, just in like human form, But but that's really him. That's what I want him to be, but like kind of mixed with the Fonz, and yeah. So I'm taken from a lot of places, and I think a lot of that stuff I even forgot about. I've been working on the script for years and years, and it is based on a story from my friend Hannah. But this has been, developed over years. So there's stuff. There's this filmmaker too. Man, I can't remember her name. Katrina. Oh, what is her name? She made these really great Super 8 films in New York. Man, it's escaping me, and that's totally my fault. I feel like a jerk. Oh, obviously the cinema transgression stuff, like Richard Kern and not a huge Nick Zed guy, but Richard Kern, Lydia Lunch, that stuff, is so good and was made on nothing, and
Yeah,
it's
I think
awesome.
you mentioned that this was a kind of an underground aesthetic as well, so that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And my sisters, my two sisters, T and Amy, they grew up in that scene. My sister Amy used to be in a band called Thrust, actually. So that's kind of where the title comes from. And I think both my sisters were in it, and they both kind of take credit for coming up with the name or the band. And I will be interviewing them for the Blu-ray or DVD. And yeah, and so my sister Amy was in a band called Thrust that used to open up for Gigi Allen.
Wow.
back in the
Good
day.
thing. I'm glad it's opening up for Gigi Allen and not like closing out because
Yeah, how do you close? Yeah, right.
there's shit everywhere. Jesus.
Yeah, bottles broken everywhere. I
Why
know.
is there blood in the shit? Oh God, was that in there to begin with? Oh fuck.
Yeah, imagine that, right? I think there's most venues got closed down after his performance, but yeah, no, he. My vision of Gigi as a kid was completely different. It was this guy that my sister said used to like protect her, and he used to tell her to break bottles over his head during certain parts of the set. I mean, he's really taking a bottle over the head. He's not like it maybe planned a little bit, but he's still taking a damn bottle over his head. And she said there was one time where these cops raided a club that they were at, and Gigi, she was young, grabbed her and got her out of there, and yeah. So I mean, I had that as a kid. I remember making thrust shirts with my sister, like these white T-shirts, putting glue on them, and then putting glitter over it, and writing out thrust. And so it really doesn't have anything to do with the movie. It's just a great title, and it's kind of a tribute to my sisters. And they're actually in some of those Geraldo Rivera episodes where they had Gigi on. My sister's in the audience with a thrust shirt. Yeah, so that definitely taken. That's part of the aesthetic, I think, is if that makes sense.
I mean, a little personal or injection of personal. Wow, my brain's not quite there.
Yeah, me too. I'm
But
like,
yeah,
does
but
it sound correct, or do I sound
putting
like
your personal shit in the art, just like taking out your paints and going like, oh, I got this paint and this paint, and this is just my own blood and fucking shit and tears in the painting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in eloquent terms. Cool. So we have a very very personal film. It takes inspiration from a lot of underground and mainstream sources. Shoestring budget, total shoestring cinema, which I'm all about, whether I want to or be or not. And not too self-aware.
Right.
Let's see, and stars some notable. I don't even know what, like Aaron and Linnea Quigley. I don't really know what. Like it's so weird when you go to like A grade, B grade. Like it's such a weird thing to say because it almost sounds like you're being dismissive when you go down. But like it's really, I feel like there's some people that won't get this, but it's kind of a mix of like Z and like C grade, I guess. But like that's the best stuff. I don't know how to put this. Like it sounds like I'm being a fucking asshole.
I usually say like underground, independent. Like yeah, I don't know. I usually stay away from the letters because
Yeah, it does.
I
Maybe
guess
it
it's all
does.
like interpreted, by.
Yeah, 'cause it's one of those things. Like I remember, I tried to do a Kickstarter a long time, like years and years ago, that failed miserably, and rightfully so. It was a terrible Kickstarter. But I did a trailer for this movie, and I wanted to make basically a modern Giallo, which was a bad idea to do, by the way. Don't fucking do that. And I made a trailer, and it was basically a mix of a scene we shot as prep, and then it was our interpretation of the black glove over like the red table covered in weapons sequence from Deep Red. And like I have, or maybe was it Deep? Yeah. And someone in the comments I remember said, "This looks old." Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it does. Doesn't it?
Oh, boy.
And it like it I always remember that because I like will see like, reviews for things where it's like this looks like it was shot for no money. It's like, yeah, that sounds rad. cool. Like,
Yeah, thank
but then it's
you.
like 1 star, and like they're shitting, or like, this stars a bunch of nobodies from like the '80s or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's great, that's awesome. Or just
You're my
actually,
somebody's though, you know.
yeah, or even like movies like there's no stars in this. Well, first off, whoever's the protagonist is the star of the film, but
Right.
like, yeah, no, like it's great to have no stars, because they're the stars of tomorrow, or they're the stars of someone's world. Like, there's all these people who will show up in movies or make movies, and they're dismissed for not like having anything to their name, but like they have this world of their own that they're living. They have their friends, their family, their own fans. Like, it's weird. Like, I'm a nobody. Nobody gives a shit about me. But I have actual fans, which is the weirdest goddamn thing in the world. And I have people who talk about me and not like in conversation with me. And it's fucking weird, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But to your mainstream Marys, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
The fuck does he have to do with anything? And the same goes, actually more so for film, because film is so challenging. Like, any movie that gets made is a fucking miracle, because it's such a goddamn pain in the ass, a beautiful, wonderful pain in the ass, the kind of pain in the ass that it does hit the spot, just right. But it is very tough. It's very tough.
It's a lot of work. Yeah. I think a lot of people, when they make their first movie, they have this naiveness to them, and they think it's going to be fun. And it is fun. I'd rather do it than anything else, but it's a lot of work. And when you're producing it as well, it's hard. But it's worth the end result is worth it. And
it's the world's longest childbirth. It's just
it is, like you were saying, the
time.
movie take 9 months. That's childbirth,
It's tough. So I like, no matter what, like, unless like there's a little bit of leeway. Like, if a movie is like a big studio picture, you can be I can be like Space Jam. I shit all over Space Jam because the new one, because it's such a piece of shit. It was such a corporate cash grab, like, bundle of garbage. And while I will say, look, you know what, those CGI artists did a great job, and it's great that such and such got work, blah 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 blah. At the end of the day, yeah, it's a bad movie, and I'll shit on it because, you know what, they had all the money in the world, and they squandered it. But if somebody makes a movie for $3,000 or whatever, and they make something that is like relatively coherent, I'm not even asking for like fully coherent. I'm just saying, like, okay, point A, point B, point C. Okay, cool. No matter what their audio issues are, their image issues, or they have like the worst actors on the fucking planet, whatever the case may be, they all get like that little bit of a pass where it's like, I'm not going to shit on this movie because they fucking worked their asses off. For the most part, there are every so often what'll like get through, or it's like, oh, you didn't give a shit, did you? All right. But you can usually tell. It like, because if you don't give a shit when you're making a movie, it shows
absolutely,
like, so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like a lot of people don't give credit where credit's due. Like, not only are these really tough to make and expensive to make, no matter what you do, but the final product deserves a little respect, even if it's not terrible. And I'm not saying that your project's not going to be good, by the way. I just realized I could be misconstrued here. I'm actually looking forward to this. I love the title. I also love the story behind the title, now that I've heard that. And I think, I obviously haven't seen Triangle, but the little bit of footage that's in the IndieGoGo video looks really fun. And at the very least, what I'm expecting, and this is me keeping my expectations as low as possible, I'm expecting an energetic, fun little indie picture. And I feel like that's all you can really ask for. I'm hoping, based on what we've talked about, I'm hoping for something that's a fucking baller time, that has some sick ass effects and some fun performances. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think there's a good chance I'll get that, but I'm also my usual honest self. All I'm expecting is an energetic, relatively good time. And if you can deliver that, I will be more than satiated. And because like, and I specifically don't even like, I barely even like respond when people like come to me to talk about movies if I can tell they're not really, making something that I have interest in. I had a guy come to me with his movie and he said, "Hey, would you review this movie?" And I looked at it and I said, "This isn't very good. I can, say that I can talk about it, but I'm not going to." And he said, "No, just forget about it." And I did. I did forget about it.
Right.
And this, I'm really excited. I'm going to be paying very close attention to production updates on this.
Right on.
I'm probably gonna go with the Blu-ray. I feel like that's probably the best option for me. I kind of want the poster too. We'll see. Uh, but this should be pretty sick.
Well, I'll send you, if you get one of those posters, I'll send you one of the other ones too for free because you're doing this and you're helping me out.
See, guys, you got to be nice to people. This is what you get. You got to be nice.
You got to be thankful and appreciative. I said that wrong, but you gotta give back. You have to, and it's about like you said, I want it to be fun, energetic, but it's got costumes. Every character has a costume, and it's not just what they show up in that day. This has been going on for months. Like, we were literally at the thrift store 5 minutes before I got on here, just trying to find props and stuff. And, I'm grateful for the stuff that people have given me. But, like this Friday we're doing an art day, and I have a bunch of people coming over, and we're going to be painting stuff and making shirts, and kind of like the way I made them with my sister back in the day. I didn't even think of that, but there's a gang called the Hipster Sisters, and they're the evil gang, of course. And, we're going to be making their T-shirts and their outfits and putting the costumes together. And, there's a lot going into this. And my life is this, right now. And, putting everything into it. And I will deliver a fun, energetic, nonstop, badass, powerful film. And I know my actresses and actors are incredible, and I wrote some of the characters based on people without even like knowing some of them, and I was lucky to get some of them. So I really believe in this, and I appreciate your help me getting it out there.
Yeah, I just wish I was bigger. I wish I could get it out to even more peeps, but unfortunately I lost all my Twitter followers, so I got suspended. So I can't like blast it out like I used to be able to.
Oh, that's okay.
And you're shooting in August.
Yes,
I mean, you've been shooting, but you're shooting the big chunk in
July
August.
31st through August 7th, I think. Yeah.
And then I think you said late this year release is what you're looking at.
I want to get it done by Christmas. That is my goal. Yeah. And that's why I'm doing this. I was like, no, I want to deliver it now, People involved with it, I know that it's frustrating for actresses too. And to be in a film and they put a lot into it, and a lot of times they're not paid what they deserve, and then it never comes out, and then they don't even get it for their reel or anything. And it's like, it's a waste of time. We're all getting older, like we're running out of time. So with the year that we've all had, we don't have to get into that, but it's been a crazy year and a half, 2 years. And on top of that, I've had a lot of personal things, and it's like, what do we have to lose, So we're going to do it.
Awesome. Well, okay. So guys, there's a lot of IndieGoGos out there that you never get anything from. Nothing ever happens with them. Maybe the project falls apart, whatever the case may be, things go awry. This looks like it could very well. I say looks like. This is one of those where I'm feeling very like this doesn't really mean anything, but this gets the Michael Keene seal of approval. Where even if the movie winds up not being your cup of tea, because you never know. At the very least, you're given money towards an artistic vision, and I see no reason this will not be finished. I will be honest. I'm a little like 15 grand does not seem like a whole lot of money to me. But I mean, I fully believe, having talked to you, that we will see a finished product.
Absolutely.
And you know, how will it turn out? Could be anything, but that, in my opinion, doesn't fucking matter as long as the filmmaker behind it is spirited and has a vision and wants to make something for an audience, and has the drive to do that, and that is all on display here. So I'm very bad at promoting things, by the way.
That was good.
I'm,
That sounded great to me.
I'm a hopelessly pragmatic person, but I'm really excited for this, and um, I'm gonna steal your drive for my own project. Like it's like, hey, this guy's, oh, feed me that energy.
Here you
Oh
go.
yeah. And yeah, and fuck, I'll send you a copy, not a physical copy. I don't have anything on hand, but I'll send you a download link for my movie.
Oh, I
And
love
you
that.
can
I
you can
love that.
suffer through that.
No, I'd
Um,
love to watch that. Yeah, no, seriously.
and but yeah, we'll have you on again, maybe post shooting,
Sure.
and we can talk about what all, some, maybe some behind the scenes stories. You can save a little tidbits for
Give you
me.
some exclusives. Yeah.
We'll have a better setup, where I'm not like on my laptop and like trying to figure things out while we're setting up.
I won't have like
Um,
a halo glow. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get yourself like a ring light and like powder yourself and get like a nice, like one of those backdrops like H Bomber guy or whatever, and like
I'll
really,
shave. Yeah.
you'll, I think Big Crack Rock was saying you look like the guy, you look like, what's his face, Buddy from Combat Shock.
Oh, I'll take
Um,
that.
yeah, right. And then of course Alfonso echoed my uh, opinion. Movie making is hard work. Look forward to seeing this one.
Thanks,
Uh,
Alfonso.
Meanwhile, Video Store Review just got in here. What have I missed? Literally everything. We're wrapping up now. Um, but yeah, thank you so much, Victor. I'll definitely talk to you again after shooting. I don't. I'm not going to even try to bother you mid, because that's going to be a fucking beautiful nightmare, is what I would refer to any filmmaking project as, a beautiful, beautiful nightmare. Where can people find you? Are you on any socials that you like people to follow you on, or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm on the Facebook, just Victor Bonacore, and I'm on Instagram. I think I have a silly name on there. It's like Video Bonacore on Instagram, and that's it. I've never had the Twitter or anything else, and but yeah, that's where you can find me. And I write back. I'm pretty responsive. I'm not a huge social media guy, but lately I have to be. So
Yeah.
I'm doing it more, So yeah, and I've been very appreciative of the people reaching out, and yeah, so absolutely find me there.
Awesome. And with that, that's going to wrap it up. I look forward to seeing you in a much more ragged and like battle scarred way.
Yep,
And
I'm
man,
sure.
break a fucking leg or a bunch of legs, some
I think
necks, whatever.
yeah, they'll be. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be pretty fucked up after this, but in a good way. Still, as long as the movie gets made.
All right.
But
And
thank you, Michael. I appreciated this a lot, and anybody watching and listening, and believe in us. Check us out.
indie filmmaking, guys, don't just go watch a movie, go fund a movie.
Help make
Link
it.
in the description. Fuck off. That's
Rust.
thrust.
And am I still live? What do I do now? Stop cam. Bam.